Andrew's out, and I'm in charge of the soundboard.
That's your intro.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Will, it will be done, my lord. What's up? Do you have the chapel up here, Maya?
No, I don't. Hey, patience. Someday.
Someday. Just pull it up on your other computer.
Well, we'll see. What's up, everyone? Jeremiah here from Empire Radio Podcast.
I'm Drew.
I screwed that up so bad.
Yeah.
Well,
It's all good.
okay, anyway.
We're filling it out.
We're figuring this out. But yes, welcome back. This is twice this week we are recording. So
2 days in a row.
2 days in
Look,
a row.
I was just here.
We were just here. But we are back with the Book of Boba Fett, Season 1, Chapter 2, The Tribes of Tatooine.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
It was a long episode.
It was really long. I woke up this morning at like 2 a.m. and I was like looking at my phone, looking at it, right? And I was like, what, 52 minutes? This is long as heck. I don't even think did we ever get a Mandalorian episode that was that long?
Well, we had that Crate Dragon episode that was an hour, I think. Or it was over an hour, wasn't it? It was like 61 minutes or 62 minutes. And then we had like Bad Batch, which was like 75 minutes.
True, the first episode was pretty long.
I was not expecting this episode to be.
Well, we were literally talking about last night too. We were like, all right, start watching at 4. We can start at 4:30. Like, it'll be fine. 30 minutes. And then I woke up. I was like, oh, this is a long episode today. We're gonna.
Yeah, I was gonna text you
deep.
like, hey, this is a long episode. You gotta get home right away and blah blah blah. But
yeah, it worked out though.
It all worked out. You got off work early, so
yes,
it all worked.
Yeah, chat. So, chat podcast. Just so you guys know, obviously Andrew's last episode was the last night, but when it gets uploaded, are they both gonna be live the same day or
no? So the podcast episode should be up tonight, and the YouTube video should be up tonight too.
Okay.
For Ahsoka. So hopefully tomorrow, late night, will be live. Or early Friday morning. We'll see. But
gotcha. So by the time you hear this, the episode will be live, and you'll already know. But also, like, so you guys know, like Boba Fett episodes on Wednesdays. We're gonna do them Wednesdays, and the live stream's gonna be like kind of around like 4:35. Like we're trying to figure it out because Andrew or Jeremiah's kind of busy Wednesdays nights, and so we're trying to do it a little earlier, and that's just until Book of Boba is done, and then we're gonna figure out a different time to do
Tuesdays.
Yes,
back in
our normal saddle.
Yep.
Saddle, is that weird? Or bantha saddle? Dude,
well,
how many banthas died in this episode?
I don't know. Some of those, we'll get to it, but I'm like, get out of the way! Like, why are you just standing there?
Dumb. The giant elephant.
But yes, so we should do like we normally do. Drew, what were your overall thoughts?
I don't want to go first.
Why?
Because I never.
The host doesn't go first.
Oh God! All right. So overall thoughts, I liked it a lot. I loved it. I thought it was really fun. I mean, I love that we're getting so much in depth of like the Sand people. You know, like we're learning so much about their culture, and all of it to this point, a lot of it has been speculation, like through like the fans and stuff for years and years and years, and like and we're getting a deep dive. Like when we first saw Boba, right, in episode 1 of season 2 of Mandalorian, we saw him in that black outfit with his bantha stick, and we're like, oh, he probably killed them and killed a whole tribe, and like he stole their stuff, and like and then also like while we were watching it, you're like thinking, oh, maybe he like they gave him one at some point. But no, like he made his own, which I thought that was really cool. Like that he's like part of their culture, and he's actually making them like a more powerful people that they've never actually like figured out, kind of like. And I thought it was really interesting. I think I'm excited to break it down a little bit, but I think it could have its good or bad like repercussions.
What does?
Like him training these people outside of, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I could see that. Like,
it has like it's
like they could be more involved in like planet relations, and
which could be good.
It could be good, but yeah, like you said, it could
but
be
it could
bad
also
too.
like ruin their culture and like what they represent and like their roots. And I think that's kind of like a lot of what they're doing is like kind of what we did to the Native Americans. Like let's call what it is, that elephant or the bantha in the room here.
The
like
bantha in the room.
The bantha in the room, like that's kind of what it is. And so I think it's really interesting that they're kind of breaking that down, and it's going to feel military. Like we're able to feel that, you know. Like I don't know. I thought it was really cool and kind of worrisome, but also like really cool. I don't know. It could have like
We'll just have to see how it plays out.
yeah. But yeah, I love that we're getting this culture, and it's more than just like people hiding in the dunes shooting at people as they drive by or whatever, you know. Like it's more in depth than that, and like they're actually coming to their own. And like Andrew said even last episode, like when they describe them in like the EU books or the other books, they all have like their own personality. Like they all have like similarity, like they don't all look the same. And so I love that we're getting that more into actually as a people too. So and Andrew just popped in the chat. He said, "Oh, what did I miss? Did Jeremiah hate this?" Question mark. We don't know yet because I'm still bringing it down. So yeah, overall, I liked it a lot. I thought it was fun. It was a fun episode. I love the hut stuff. I think that's gonna be super cool.
That came out of nowhere for me.
That gave me chills.
That
was pretty cool. Also, I felt bad for those guys that were holding them up for so long.
I was like,
conversation.
They don't have enough people to hold that up. There's no way.
I also like, how's it not Boeing in the middle? Like,
I was like, this is not real. But
yeah, I was like, damn. But yeah, I thought the hut stuff was kind of scary. Like, it was intimidating for me as a viewer. So and like that one scene where they dropped him in to try to get him to interrogate, I literally thought there was gonna be a Rancor in there. I was so freaking out. Like, I was super pumped, and there wasn't. I was like, oh, well, it died. But yeah. But yeah, that was my overall thoughts. All right, Jeremiah.
All right, so we all know last week I thought it was a terrible episode.
Correct.
I hated it. This episode was really amazing to me.
Oh, okay. Woo! Oh, thank the Lord. Can we get a burr, please? Right now. Burr. Thank you. Oh, yes. Chat. You guys can type in burr too. Feel free.
So now that Andrew's gone, we're using that button a lot more often.
Yeah. He's spamming it. He's spamming in the chat. So that's what's up. Thanks, Andrew. Yeah, there we go.
But this everything in this episode was amazing for me. And it's interesting because last week we were kind of like, oh, there's all these flashbacks, and it's like the whole episode was basically flashbacks, and we were kind of speculating, okay, they're getting the flashbacks out of the way just so they could focus on the main story. But this episode was over half of it was the flashbacks, and it was amazing. Like,
well, and it wasn't even it was a flashback, but it never went back and forth. Like the last week's, it went back and forth, and you kind of got both. This week, it was like flashback, and then that was it. Like,
so I think it was the first 20 minutes. I think was the live modern whatever current timeline.
Current
and the flashbacks were like the last half hour, which was so. I just thought it was great. Like, I didn't even care about what's happening at like the current time. Like, the flashbacks was just so amazing for me. And like you said, like learning more about the culture and seeing him get trained with the gaffy stick. Is that what it's called? the gaffy stick.
Yep.
Like that was super cool. And he's like, I'm holding it just the way you are holding it. Like, no, you're not. Like, it was just a cool like.
Yeah, and you could tell like she was like yelling at him, but
Yeah.
she like we could understand what she was saying, but like, yeah,
and it was like, just like you were saying, like how he kind of got like, brought into the community. Like he's now like a Tusken. Like he's a human, but he's gone through all the ceremonies and the training, and they fully trust him, and he trusts them, and it's just like I never would have thought that this is the way the story was going to go. I thought he was going to be more like a lone ranger, like trying to survive, but like he's like part of a community now,
and the more that we're getting him part of this culture and like the community of the Tusken Raiders, like you understand more and more now that I see it. Like this is what took him so long to get his armor back, because he's part of this other group now, and he's trying to establish. I have some speculations that we'll get to at the end of the episode, but yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah. All right, so we can probably jump into scene by scene now, really quick. And it's like there's a ton of stuff in this episode, but like I didn't even write a lot because I was so like engaged.
Locked in. How many times did you watch it?
I watched it twice.
Dang. That's a lot.
It is a lot, especially when it's 52 minutes long.
52 minutes and some. Well, 4 of those minutes aren't even.
Right, you got the last like 3 plus like the opening. 2, so it wasn't that long, I guess, but
it's still long though.
But yeah, so we pick up with Fennec bringing in a prisoner to the palace, and brings the prisoner in front of Boba, and they kind of do like a little try to interrogate him, get answers. And we learn that he is from the Order of the Night Wind, which is an assassination for hire guild type thing, syndicate. I thought it was funny how Fennec was like, "You're paying more for the name. Like they're not that great.
Yeah, they're overpaid. Like
it's just kind of funny that like,
well, because she, I mean, she's an assassin, you know, like so she knows that like they're just overrated. She can demolish. I mean, and honestly, she handled lots of them, and it was like she captured one. You know what I mean? Like she did handle them. So in her defense, she's kind of right compared to her. Anyways, I don't know about anyone else, but compared to her, they're chopped liver. So
yeah, because the thing is, there's a lot in this episode that I can tell is like from other works too, like EU stuff and other. There's other stuff in here that we'll get into that's also from like other stuff, and so I wish like Andrew was here so he could tell us some more of this stuff, but
yeah, we gotta start doing more research. I think before episodes.
I did some quick research stuff on one thing. I'm sure people in the chat will throw in some information too and stuff, but yeah, so they threatened to kill the guy, and he's like, Fennec was like, well, they don't fear any man, and like, well, what about a rancor? Then he gets scared, which I don't know. Like, I thought that was kind of cheesy, just because he's fine with dying by a blade, but he's not fine dying by a monster. Like
maybe the way the death is though.
Maybe, but
because like cutting your throat, you're done. You know, like there's not a lot of like suffering. Yeah. But rancor bite and ripped, and it's a lot more. I feel like so
maybe, but.
And it's cool, okay? Like
I was
freaking out when I was like, "Yeah, let's go!" I was so pumped, and I got disappointed because it wasn't there.
I don't know. I thought they were gonna bring back. Was it Moochie?
Yeah, Moochie. That's why I was like, "Oh, what if it's Moochie?" Like
I thought that
would tell that would have been cool, like full circle.
Yeah, that would have been really cool. But it didn't happen. There's just a little rodent in there, but that's fine. But while the prisoner is down there scared, he says that the mayor sent him, and so then they go to the mayor. And I thought the whole scene, like in the lobby of the mayor's office, was kind of funny. He's like, "Oh, do you have an appointment? Oh, I don't see your name in here." Like,
yeah, that guy was weird. His hair and he was like kind of grungy.
he was just like that typical like front desk person that doesn't
That
like hates his job, but like
he just does what the book tells him to do. Like there's
right.
yeah, true.
But we get that like the assistant
That you hate so much.
that I hate. He wasn't as bad this episode. He didn't remind me of Zombieland, but
That's good.
So he's not letting him in, but Boba says, "I don't care." Like he goes and breaks in to where the mayor is, and it's an Ithorian, which we saw from the trailer, and we kind of assumed that this was some sort of leader or governor or whatever.
Yeah.
So, and has a translator device to translate for him while he's talking. So that was pretty cool. But it was very. We didn't get as many answers as I was hoping from the interaction.
From that interaction, I felt like we got like really nothing.
Right.
Like I was kind of like confused. I'm like, it. From what I understood, it seems like he's not in charge. Like the cousins are trying to take it.
Well, I don't know. I think he's still the mayor. He's in charge of everything. Just that he's in league with
the other
crime syndicates or anything.
Yo, yeah. I'm saying like, it seems like in his mind though, the cousins are actually in charge of Jabba's palace. Like, not Boba, and Boba's just he just stepped in and he shouldn't have stepped in, kind of thing.
We'll get to the Hutts in a few minutes, but so like, okay, so they bring in the guy they caught, and it's like we brought in this guy that you sent after us. Why'd you send us? They're like, oh, I didn't do this. Like that's a member of the Order of the Night Wind. They're not allowed to operate outside Hutt territory. And so then one of the guards kills
him like instantly. I was like, what the heck?
Which was, I don't know. It was weird. I was like, what's going on? Because I'm pretty sure this mayor is lying the whole time about stuff.
Yes, for sure.
And I don't know. And so they pay, like, thanks for bringing in this assassin. Here's some money that we were able to get rid of this assassin, which was kind of like the mayor playing along with, I don't know anything about it. Oh, thanks, you did a good job. Like, they're trying to be.
You brought in a like, you're a good bounty hunter. Essentially, that's what he was trying to say. Like,
yeah, and he's like, not wanting to be a bounty hunter anymore.
Or he just said, I'm not a bounty hunter. Like, I'm a
the daimyo or whatever.
Yeah, daimyo.
I don't even know what that is. Like,
I almost thought it said dyad. I was like, what?
He's a dyad in the Force.
Yeah, when he first said it, I was like, oh wait, no, that's not what he said. That's not the right word. Yeah.
But yeah, so and then as Boba Fett's leaving, the Ithorian's like, I'll give you one piece of advice. This is my tribute to you. And it's something like along of like, family is harder to run than being a bounty hunter or something like that. And I was like, what? That doesn't even make sense. Like, what are we talking about? And she's like, go to this, the lady at the Twi'lek is Garsa, I think her name is. And like, go to Garsa at the sanctuary and you'll see for yourself. So I was like, okay, this is weird. Like, something's going on that
no one really knows.
Like, the mayor knows something is going on and is not involved with something. So there's something bigger going on. And so they go to the sanctuary, and Garsa was surprised that Boba Fett was there. I was like, whoa, it's a surprise. We'll get you a table, blah, blah, blah. And Boba Fett tries to confront her about, like, what's actually going on. The mayor sent me here, blah, blah, blah. And then you hear drums in the background.
I thought it was something stomping. I didn't realize it was doing drums at first.
I was like, what is going on? And then like the band in the cantina stopped, and everyone was like going outside to look, and then it kind of reminded me of the live action Aladdin.
I was
movie.
literally about to say, "Make way for Prince Ali." That's what it felt like.
But like in the live action one, they had like the drums that they hear from the distance coming.
Yeah,
and
it's like, yeah. And then close to the elephants stomping too at the same time.
Right. And so I was like, this is interesting. Like, and so they said that the twins are back or something like that.
She said the twins.
And I was like, what twins? Because immediately I was thinking about, you remember, like, I think it was like over the summer, we got a voicemail from Dengar and said that he's dating like the whatever twins. I was like, is it these twins? Because they're like bounty hunters. No, they weren't Twi'leks. They were some other species, but I forget what their names.
I know what you're talking about though.
But they're like also bounty hunters, I think.
My mind, for some weird reason, went to
Visions.
I was like, the twins. What?
We're getting the California Saber.
California Saber. It's like, okay, Andrew has come back for this episode. This is what's about. I was like, the twins. Why do I know twins in Star Wars? Like, it sounded familiar to me, but it was not what I thought at all.
Okay, so like the first time I was like, hey, who's the twins? Like I didn't get it. But so the second time, I watched it. Mm-hmm. It said something about Jabba and cousins. Like it doesn't directly say that they're cousins of Jabba, mm-hmm. but when you actually listen and read it again, like the subtitles, like you can see there's a connect. It's okay, they're related, but
yeah.
So but like, the first time I was like twins, like I didn't know what to expect, and so then you hear the drums and you go outside and you start seeing them carrying the whatever. I'm like, oh. What is it? What is it? And then the twins are 2 huts, and I'm like, oh crap!
It was intense.
I did not expect to see a live action hut ever again in my life, and
it's been a long time.
And I thought the same thing, like you said. How are those guys holding that thing up?
Like, I was like, what? I was like, wait, that's a long conversation.
Because there's like what?
Like 10 minutes.
There's like 4 or 5 people on each side. I'm like,
and like 2 in the front, 2 in the back. But I'm like, there's nothing holding the center of this thing. Like how's it not bowing in the center?
Even if there's like 20 people holding it, let's say each one could carry 300 pounds. Like that's only what, 6,000 pounds?
Are you saying they weigh more than 6,000 pounds?
They definitely do. They had to at least weigh 6,000
What's
pounds
that show?
apiece.
It's like the new version of like my 6,000 pound life.
Oh, my 600 pound life.
But it's the new one. It's the 6,000 pound life.
My like 6,000 pound hut life.
It's like a parody of just like the huts trying to figure out their diets and stuff, and they just want to eat frogs all day.
Yeah. So then they come up, and Boba is just standing there, like not intimidated at all. It's like standing there in the middle of the road,
but everyone around him was like the whole street stopped.
Everyone
stared. Like everyone, it was wild.
Yeah. So, they're like, you know, we're kind of like we're in charge. Like we're taking. We have the right to take over Jabba's thing, and like before they came out, like when he was talking to Garza, he said something like they're too busy dealing with something on Nal Hutta or something like that for them to be here, but apparently they're. What is weird to me is that at this point it's what is it? So we're probably we're like 5 years, over 5 years past Jabba's death. So like,
at least why
are they now just getting?
Well, that's why I think they're still in charge of what's his name. Yeah, I think they're still in charge of him. Like they had something to do with him
because
they allowed him to be in that position.
That's what it was.
And like, I mean, he was so in depth with Jabba. I think like he was like he was literally Jabba's second hand, and I think they just let him be there, and they just profited off of him, and he was just a face. like he didn't really. And dude, I went back and watched that last bit, like that last trailer. Dude, that boy got so thick. Oh my
Bib,
gosh.
yeah, he got super
Woo!
fat. It was
They-
he's the way he was going. He was gonna be on 600-pound.
Yeah, he was definitely at 600-pound life. But what was crazy was like they just dropped Black Series just dropped a Bib Fortuna figure from the Last Jedi, and I'm like, dude, they need to make a Book of Boba Fett one of him. It's a giant one. That'd be so cool. I would buy it, just a fat one.
Right, but like, so you're probably right that he was just kind of like the stand-in.
Yeah, it just seemed like because they would have, like you said, like they would have been there. Like, why did it take them 5+ years? Unless they had other things, like they were preoccupied in other places.
But Boba was under the impression that Bib was fully in control because he's like,
yeah,
Jabba died, and
it was like Bib took over.
Bib
or something
took over,
like that.
and I killed Bib, so now I'm in charge.
Yeah,
and so if you want territory, this whatever, you have to kill me.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy Hut was like, my sister wants you dead, but I'm more patient, and blood shed is not good for business. So it's like, we'll talk about this later. But there's like so many, the issues.
Dude,
with
this is day 2 on the job, right?
Yeah, he's only in this couple days in, but
and also it also seemed too to me like it seemed like maybe because Bill was such a pushover.
Yeah.
Like maybe he was such a pushover that like the mayor got to do what he wanted to do. Like no one, because when you think about it too, the mayor's representative assumed that Boba was going to pay him because Bib probably paid him. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
And the mayor is old. Like you can tell he has like some gray. Like he's not. He's been in that position for longer.
He had hair on his face, which I've never seen an authorian with hair, which is weird.
It seemed like he's been in that position a while, like and like past his term essentially. Like it seemed like he's been in there for a little bit, and so like it seemed like maybe Bib was a big pushover, and so a lot of these people got to run what they wanted to do, and Bib was just like the face, and they let Bib say that he was in charge, but he really wasn't. And then day 1, Boba is pushing things around and like taking over and saying that he's in charge, and all these people were like, "Oh, you are, huh?" And then all of a sudden the cousins step in, you know, because even when he talked to him in the last episode when he went to the cantina, she was like, "Oh, you are. Oh, this is cool. Like this is your place. What's mine is yours, I guess." Like, you know, but it didn't seem like she was like, "Oh my gosh," like yes, whatever you want. It didn't really feel like that. It felt like, interesting. So
yeah. So, what'd you think about the Wookiee?
Oh my gosh! I mean, first of all, the chat's been blowing up about who this Wookiee is.
Yeah, so that's the one thing I looked into a little bit beforehand. But did you know about this character before watching this?
He looked familiar to me, and Will told me earlier in the chat that I think he was like representative, or someone in the chat said that he was first seen in maybe like the Vader comics.
Yeah, so
but he almost looked like Chewbacca's dad, like in what was it, episode 3? He kind of had like that look. I don't think it is, but he kind of had like a longer, darker profile. Was that Chewbacca's dad in episode 3?
I don't know if it was his dad or I don't know,
or like his buddy or something.
No, it was Truffle, which was like the leader of the Wookiees.
Are you sure that's not cake?
Cake?
A cake? What? Truffle cake?
No. Get out! Get out! But yeah, Truffle or Turfuffle, I can't remember. Whatever his name is, he's the leader of.
That was the leader of the Wookiee. Okay.
And then
it kind of looked like it though.
In Jedi Fallen Order, you have to find him on Kashyyyk for help.
Oh, okay.
So
But this is not him.
That's not him. No. So this is a guy named. Okay, and I'm gonna butcher trying to pronounce this because it's gonna be like last night with Rada again. Like we're gonna get all these different pronunciations.
Rada.
But it's Black Kersantan, Krrsantan.
Yeah,
Kersantan.
That's what the chat's saying.
He looks super. I was super intimidated by this guy.
He was cool. He was so dope.
I've never seen Wookiees as being scary. It's because we're used to Chewbacca being a nice guy, and other Wookiees.
And then the other Wookiee we saw was dying. The scrawny Wookiee from Solo.
Oh yeah, they were all like malnourished. Like the group that was there.
The one Wookiee that looks like everyone hated that Wookiee, that poor girl. Wookiee.
Yeah. But this one looked scary, terrifying. And at first, like, because it's from behind, and I thought, like, it was just someone with really thick, long black hair. I was like, who's this guy? But then when they came to front, I was like, this is a Wookiee, like, all black. We've never seen it. I don't think we've seen an all black Wookiee before. They're always brown and black or just brown. And he's just jacked.
And his face looked menacing. Like nothing about him looked like I wanted to go give him a hug. Like there is nothing good in that.
So, but what I did read was that he was like another bounty hunter, assassin type character that Vader hired on a regular basis and had a contract with the Empire to do stuff, and then afterwards worked with Dr. Aphra, if you are familiar with that character from the Vader stuff too, I believe. So, yes. And I think there's something along the lines of like a bunch of these bounty hunter warrior people like fought to the death, like in like for entertainment. Like they'd be like people, they were captured and people would watch these fights. And so he's like the one that survived all of them, I think, if I remember correctly. So this guy is like the top of the top. You don't want to mess with him. And when the Hutts left, he stood there and just stared at Boba Fett for a few seconds. Like that was terrifying.
Well, didn't Boba say too, like
these aren't the whatever of Tur or something like? Your warrior, like he's not as intimidating as it looks. Like this is the different.
Yeah, it was like something like your like gladiator is not as intimidated as he looks, or
something along those lines.
So like maybe even Boba knew who Boba. It seemed like he knew who he was. Well, like
Boba was still considered the best bounty hunter in the galaxy, right?
Yes.
So obviously, since he was like in the top, that group of like 6 or 7 bounty hunters that Vader hires, he's obviously in the top 5 or whatever. And this guy wasn't. So I'm assuming that Boba Fett knew his competition. So he probably knew like 20 or 30 high-ranking bounty hunters throughout the galaxy.
Oh yeah, he knew everyone.
So I'm fairly certain that he knew this guy.
I'm surprised Boba didn't recognize that guy was part of like that crime syndicate. You know what I mean? Just by the colors that they're wearing.
I was wondering that too because he was trying to like, where did you come from?
Yeah.
But like he seemed to know the organization, but maybe they just had different.
Maybe that's not their normal outfits or something.
It was casual.
Because even Wednesday, casual Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even what's her name didn't recognize him either.
Right,
but she knew exactly when he said who he was.
Yeah, so I want to know why
that's just a norm.
I want to know why that robot, the droid, knew who he was. Because like, what do we know about this guy? And the droid was like, this is a member of the Order of the Night Wind. And so, I
wonder if Jabba's hired them before.
Possibly,
because that droid's been there since Jabba, right? Like,
right.
It seems like that droid's been there for a hot minute, so
right.
Maybe that's why.
Or if even with Bib Fortuna, if he was working with them too, that he would have known that. And so, I don't know. That droid I don't trust that droid. So
Yeah, maybe he's like a secret telling all them stories to everyone else.
possibly, but
I
yes.
I think it's the only thing that I want Jabba to hire or Boba to hire more people, cause that
Well, he has to gain people's confidence. Like no one
true.
trusts him because he's the new guy on the block.
I know. I just like every single time I see like Jabba's palace, I think of it like as full with all those people. It's super
Right.
crazy. Everything's going on. There's people there just because they know someone. Like, and then it's just the two pigs, Jabba. You know what I mean? It's so like empty. It feels weird, kind of.
Yeah,
But
I'm assuming we'll get more of that going forward because we do remember from the trailer that he has all the syndicate leaders there.
yeah, at one point he's gonna meet with a bunch of
So there,
people. So
so there will be eventually more because he's obviously if he's gonna have all those people there, he's not just gonna
something's going
have the
on.
2 Gamorrean guards only for
No.
security. So he'll have more security there. I'm wondering if there's gonna be a big conflict like in the climax of the finale or something where he's gonna have the Tusken Raiders fight with them. As I think
See,
that'd be super cool.
I think. I mean, I can go into my speculation, but I kind of think because of the crime syndicate that was selling spice through the Tuscans, like through they had to travel through
Yeah, the Dune Sea.
the Dune Sea, and they're gonna have to pay the Tuscans money and stuff like that. And they're gonna build up, and that clan is gonna be super powerful to the point where they actually like have a say that what's going on, and they're like their own like voice now. And I think because they're gonna recognize Boba, they're gonna kind of work with Boba as his other people. Like
Right.
he's gonna have them too. And it seems like maybe a lot of these other crime syndicates don't want to work with the twins. It seems like the twins are the new besides like the mayor, it sounds like it kind of seems like the twins and the mayor and then everyone else wants to go against them kind of thing. Like that's what it kind of feels like it's happening.
I don't know. I think everyone just wants to not work for anyone anymore.
Yeah, it's like everyone wants their own piece of the pie and not have to answer to
Yeah,
anyone.
and so I don't know. I think it'd be cool though to see the Tuscans come in and fight alongside Boba,
Yeah, I think that'd be sick.
and
And maybe that's what took Boba also so long to make his move to get his armor back. You know what I mean? Like he was building up this group and he was being with them and he was empowering them and they were supporting him to the point where all right, now I'm able to go get my armor back and kill Bib, take over this, and now I have all my people with me. I'm like my whole army behind me with me, you know? Like it almost seems like that cuz it's like just him and three other people aren't going to do much.
right.
That's what I'm trying to say cuz Jabba had so many people. And like for him to go against the Hutts, that's a lot of people that those Hutts have a lot of people. I mean, they have more people just carrying him. You know what I mean? Like that right there is more than those four people that they have. So
Right.
they need more reinforcements. So I wonder if all of a sudden at the end of the flashback stuff we're gonna see, oh, he already has all his people. They're just hanging out in the back.
Right.
So
But after they part ways with the Huts and stuff, he goes back to the palace and goes back in his back to tank, and he enters into the flashback dreams again. And this is where it gets really amazing for me. Um, so it starts out he's just training with the warrior woman, which was just a great scene about he thinks he's super amazing at what he does because he's the best bounty hunter in the galaxy, but he can't swing a stick or hold it correctly. I just thought he goes from being the most powerful, most well known bounty hunter in the galaxy to being like the weakest member in the Tuscan clan, like
yeah,
village. And so it's him learning. And I really liked how, he's like, yes, I'm holding it correctly. I'm doing this right. And then she shows him up and he's like please show me, teach me. Like he
Yeah.
had to humble himself. Like at first he was like, I know what I'm doing, and then he realized right away, I don't know what I'm doing. And so this is this cool character development for him where he's relearning how to be a fighter. And so, what do you think of that?
No, I liked it a lot. I think it was, like I said earlier, I love his how he was humbled in those moments, but he also respect the Tuscans to the point where he was willing to just learn all of he could learn and digest it, and like like at a certain point, like at any of these points, he could leave if he wanted to,
Right.
but he's not. He doesn't want to. He wants to learn and like actually care about these people. It seems like so. It's really cool. It's not the Boba that we thought. Like
Right.
in every other time we've seen Boba Fett, like this is not the Boba Fett we thought would be. You know what I mean? Like it's a different character, and I'm
Yeah.
okay with it. I like it.
Yeah. What'd you think of that little like creature that came out of the sand? That's like,
Wasn't that the frog on Buta Eve that they show that Jabba ate, or like a version of it?
I don't think so. This thing was
It was big. We've seen it before, and I don't remember if it was either during the pod race or it was like in the corner of
I don't know. I would have to go back and look
of
at that.
Jabba's palace.
It was hard
What?
hard to see this because it was just screwing all over the place.
Yeah, but we've seen it before, and also I think I know for a fact they sell a version of that frog at Galaxy's Edge as like a toy.
Really?
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was like I didn't expect that, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of over these new monsters that we see come out of the sand. Like,
True.
we got the crate dragon, then we got that Machop looking guy.
I didn't really like that guy from last
no one
week.
liked that guy, and then this thing. So hopefully we're done with little creatures.
Well, and this was like little. It seemed more fitting. It wasn't like a sentient being like you were saying last week. You know what I mean? Like it was
Right.
just like a little, and it seemed like they're trying to feed their dogs with it. Like it wasn't like
right. So after this, you start hearing some rumbling in the distance,
and they start all freaking out.
Yeah, and I was like, "This is a crate dragon."
That's what I said. First thing I said, I'm like, crate dragon. All right, here we go.
Here we go. And then, but then I was like, as you saw it approach from the distance, it was like on top of the ground.
Yeah, I was like, what the heck is that thing?
Yeah, I didn't know what was going on. And then everyone's lining up on the ridges and tops of the dunes and like aiming their guns and getting ready. And I'm like, this is what's going on. And then you see it's a train.
Mm-hmm.
So it's cool. I like how Boba calls it a train, but the Tuscans call it a long speeder, which is just interesting.
Yeah,
that like
because
they know what a speeder is, but they don't know what a train is. So it's
exactly
called a long speeder.
It seems like they don't have like the terminology for it.
Right. And so the train starts opening fire on the Tuscans, and the Tuscans start firing back, and a bunch of Tuscans die. At least one bantha got shot and killed.
Well, and it was one that they were trying to drag out of the way, and it just didn't move.
Poor guy. I felt bad for that bantha.
Dude,
I felt worse for the bantha than I did the people that died.
No, me too. And they kept dying. Like,
I'm like,
as soon as they dropped, I'm like, go hide behind the bantha.
Because Boba grabbed
a shield.
Yeah, Boba grabbed some looked like some like teenagers and a kid.
Yeah.
And put them behind a bantha. But I'm like, clearly the Tuscans don't know how to defeat these guys, so they know that their shots aren't going to matter. So just hide behind the hill in the first place and just let it pass.
Yeah, I think they're too stubborn. Because remember, even during like the pod race, they were still like sniping from the top ridge.
Right.
And like that's just like what they do. Like if it moves, they shoot it. Like I don't know. Like they don't like they don't like the technology and like them getting pushed out of like their normalcy. It seems.
Right. And so that scene goes by pretty quick. And they when that first scene when we see the train going by, did you recognize that they were pikes at first?
I did, yes. Yeah.
I was like, were those pikes?
Yeah.
Because I wasn't like, I've never thought the pikes would be on there. But it was so quick it was hard to see, and then obviously later on we see that they're pikes. But like, okay, whatever. You got these bad guys. These are going to be something that Boba's going to have to deal with. And so when they're burning the bodies, he walks away and looks off in the distance, and you hear speeders go by, and there's like 4 or 5 speeder bikes that go off in the dark by. He's like, so like, I'm wondering, did he think that these people on the speeder bikes were the same
part of the train?
Same people as the train, like the same
I don't think
organization? Because like I wanted to think that, but when he came back with the speeder bikes, it was just very like, okay, this is how we're going to take care of the train issue. And
yeah.
So,
well, because it made me kind of think that too, like you said, because the wording to the chief was what he said. He said, "I know how to defeat the train. I'll go defeat the train." Is that what he said?
He's like, I'm gonna figure. I don't know. He may sound like he was gonna defeat the train
and then come back by. Yeah, exactly.
But he,
but he was back by morning. But
he's like, this is how we're going to defeat.
Yeah.
So I wish I kind of knew more about exactly what his thoughts were about who those people on the bikes were.
But something that we kind of glossed over is when after the train left and all those like they were dead and like the Bantha was dead, like they're all dead, and it kind of zoomed into Boba and did like a wide shot, which I thought was pretty amazing. But it showed you that he cared about these people. Like it was no longer he was captured by them. And we got hints of that by just the way he looked. He looked healthier. He was training with them. He looked like he was like kind of getting part of them. But when he looked around and he saw the dead people, and he was like, all right, you can tell like I'm gonna fix this problem for them. They don't know how to fix this problem, but I know how to, or like I'll figure out how to. Like you can tell just by those angles and like the way they show that end scene, like you can tell it hurt him, and like he was trying to figure out a way to fix that, which I thought was really cool.
Right. So he was able to track them, these people on the speeder bikes, to like a middle of nowhere
watering hole,
which I wonder, like, I don't know. I've always thought of Tatooine as like, okay, you have these towns, and then that's it. But we keep seeing there's houses scattered around. There's like a bar in the middle of the desert, like. So
yeah, just picture it like there's Minneapolis, St. Paul, and then there's little St. Clouds everywhere. Throughout.
A little smaller than St. Cloud.
A little smaller than St. Cloud, but you know what I mean. Like there's also like random little watering holes throughout Boonta Eve. Like,
well, I'm just thinking like you're in the middle of the desert. Like, why would people go all the way into the middle of the Dune Sea just for a drink? Like, you'd think that they would stay at the towns or on the paths that are between towns.
Maybe that is like the path between towns.
Maybe.
Because I wonder also, was all those little towns developed on the Dune Sea when it was actually a sea before it dried up?
I think. I'm assuming
because they even mentioned that, didn't they? Like,
well, I think the everyone who's not native to Tatooine came after the water left. That's my guess. That's my guess. We'll talk about that later, but
they did mention like how the sea dried up and stuff, which I thought was pretty cool.
Right, and we'll get in that more depth later. But I don't know. I just think it's interesting that the more we explore Tatooine, the more little pockets of people and civilization there is, and things going on. So we see inside the bar, these raiders are just like a biker gang. They're just messing with people, getting drunk, eating food.
They're literally a biker gang. Like
right, they have like the vest on.
They
like
literally
leather
had
vest.
like biker jackets with like their calling card on the back. Like they had patches. Like they were signing. Like this was like the Star Wars version of like Hell's Angels.
Yeah.
Like
something like that.
They were like straight up biker
They're
gang.
wannabe Hell's Angels.
Yeah,
like
it was funny though when I was watching. Like, that's a legit biker jacket. Like this is a biker gang. That's what we're watching.
But so there's, I'm assuming like a husband and wife that are in there, and
or a wannabe Han Solo looking guy.
I was like, he kind of looks like Han Solo, but
yeah, he wants to be tough, but he's not.
But he didn't like that. So then one of the biker gangs like takes his multicolored chips and drink, and the guy's like, I'm not having this. Is not right. And he tries to stand up, and then clearly these biker gangs members are going to be able to handle this.
Well, also
guy.
he kind of said it under his breath, like, "This is not right." But then, like, I don't think he realized they spoke English. Or
no, I'm sure they did.
Really?
But yeah, they.
Well, they came in. They weren't speaking. They were just speaking their own language. And then he said that, and then it was like, "What'd you say?" And I was like, "Oh, frick!" Like, you knew what I said. Oh.
I think everyone speaks English. Everyone at least understands English.
It's not English.
Basic.
Basic.
Everyone knows basic at least, which is interesting. But,
oh my gosh! Someone in the chat said that he thinks those two were Luke's friends from what's it called?
Could have been
from A New Hope. It could have been his friends, I guess. That would have been funny.
Because they would probably be about the same age. Because he would have been 19 in A New Hope, so this is 10 years later. I mean, so
could have been
late 20s, early
friends.
30s. Like they might have known Luke, which is interesting.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. But Luke had some weak friends. Tell you that.
Because there's a deleted scene from A New Hope when he goes to Tashi Station.
Oh yeah.
And so there's a group of people there. Now I gotta go back and look at that. That'd be cool. Maybe that was Tashi Station. Like,
no,
I don't remember what Tashi Station looks like in that.
Chat, help us out. Does that look like Tashi from the
Tashi Station?
Yeah.
I bet they're the same. Some of the same people in that group.
That'd be cool.
I have to go back and look.
That would be a small world.
But yeah, so they're messing with that couple, about to beat him up, and then the door opens and you see the shadow of Boba. He's there with his own fake practice gaffy stick and then a rifle.
I thought that was so funny that he said, "I'll take the stick and the rifle," but he took that stick. Like he didn't take a better one.
Right. Well, I don't think they would allow him. I think. As we know, like.
But at that point, I didn't realize. I was like, he took that one. But then now you understand it. Like at the end of it, like he makes one.
Right. So he goes in there and just mops the floor with them, breaks the rifle. And I think it was funny. It's like he beats everyone up, grabs a drink on a thing, and walks out. And the bartender just starts
cleaning
the table. Like, all right, this is just another.
It's another bar day.
Another day. But I was wondering though about this. Do you think that they serve any hot beverages at this cantina?
Well, considering it's in the desert, at night deserts do get cold, so you probably need.
But you maybe a cold brew.
I mean, in the daylight you need some cold brew, but in the nighttime you need some.
And where
there's
would
nothing like some hot coffee with a little blue milk inside, you know.
Yeah, and where would you think would be the best place to get coffee of high quality for the desert?
Well, Wesley Andrews.
Wesley Andrews. Well, that's interesting because today we are sponsored by Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea. So,
are we now?
So, let me play this ad, and hopefully it doesn't get static like it was before. But ready?
Hey everyone, Andrew here. I'm pleased to tell you that the sponsor of today's episode is Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea. If you don't know anything about Wesley Andrews, you definitely should. They're an award-winning coffee roaster and shop in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and they make fantastic coffee. The awesome thing is that whether you live in the Twin Cities or not, you can get their coffee beans delivered straight to your door by ordering them online. They even have a subscription service that ensures you never run out of amazing coffee. If you've been looking for some new coffee to try or a way to elevate your normal coffee routine, now's your chance. Head over to wesleyandrews.cc, use the code Empire Radio, that's with a capital E and a capital R with no space at checkout, to get 15% off your first purchase of any bags of coffee or a coffee subscription. I can't think of a better deal. Get 15% off some great coffee, support a small business, and support your favorite Star Wars podcast. In the words of Emperor Palpatine, do it.
Do it.
Do it. All right. So, after he leaves the bar, he walks outside and sees all the speeder bikes, and he steals them, which is very nice of him, I guess. Because I feel like he didn't kill those biker members, so they're gonna wake up and their bikes will be gone.
They're just gonna be lost.
And then they're just gonna be pissed and just beat everybody up again.
Yeah, the poor bartender is cleaning for no reason because they're gonna wake up and just
right.
And that couple better just leave.
But yes, so
just don't stay there.
He was able to grab all the speeder bikes and bring them back to the village. And he's like, "I brought you a gift." And then everyone starts trying to destroy the bikes. Like, no, these are mine. They're not the bad guys. They're mine. Like,
that was so funny. Like, that was the first thing they decided to do, start breaking them apart.
Yeah, and then he's like, goes to the chief. He's like, "This is how we're gonna stop the train." And you could tell that, like, the chief was not happy about it, but he's like, "This is the best choice we got, though. So
yeah,
fine." And so then Boba starts training a handful of them on how to ride speeder bikes, which was this. It was a funny montage of things, like especially the first
jumping
guy. Well, the jumping, but the first guy, he's like, "Okay, just forward, stop,
and then he instantly went backwards.
I knew something was not gonna go right.
I thought he was gonna just go straight over the bars or something, or just he was just gonna zoom out of the way, but then he just went backwards. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, it was funny. And then, yes, they practiced the jumping off the bikes to another one, which was funny because the first guy that tries it falls, and then the guy riding behind him runs over him.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh my gosh!" It was pretty funny.
Yeah, it was. I really liked that montage, but then they slowly get better and better. And he's like, "All right, let me show you how fast this train's really gonna go." And then he goes full speed on these speeder bikes, and I don't know. I just really like the scene, and so then. I really like how the little kid, Tusken, who's befriended, is like, "All right, you can help me too. Like, you're going to get the little mirror and signal the other groups when the trains come in." And so when it happens, they jump on the speeder bikes and they go in pursuit and chase after them. And so I really like this train chase scene. Like, it's like a classic thing in a lot of movies and shows. It's like a train heist, train chase scene.
Well, and it kind of reminded me of Solo, Solo. It kind of like the whole train scene they had there is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It brought back some nostalgia.
The Solo train scene is like my favorite train heist scene, like in all movies. I thought it was really well done. And so this one was really good too.
I thought this was really good, and I liked the droid in the cockpit changing the speed and it also made me.
What do you think about it? The droid driver,
Yeah,
pilot.
I thought
Did
it
you
was really.
like?
It didn't bother me.
It was very unexpected.
Oh, it just yeah. Oh, it didn't bother me, but I thought it was cool because even the way he changed all the buttons around, it reminded me of Episode 1 when Anakin was trying to get all the power into one or trying to level out
Right.
the power, and it was the same kind of monitor screen too. It felt very familiar to me, and I liked it. It felt like Tatooine. I don't
I
know.
don't know.
It was cool.
It reminds me more of BB-8 inside the X-wing, plugging all the holes.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Kind of remind me of that.
Yeah.
But so they are able to jump on with hooks and rope, and they get on. They start working their way, and a bunch of Tuskens die. But they slowly move their way forward, and every time they're getting forward, the droid makes the train go faster.
Yep.
And so I knew because the engine was on the top. I knew it was gonna come into play to burn or blow people off as he went faster. I was waiting for that to happen, which was cool. But when the warrior Tusken chick comes,
oh dude, that was so dope when
I
she
really
came
like how
out of nowhere.
she came right at the train and jumped off
Jumped and let it blow up inside of it and stuff.
I'm like this.
So when he pulled up with those speeders, he only had 3. And at one
I
point,
think there were 5 bikes total.
Yeah, and at one point I counted 8.
And I know, no, it was an 8.
No, at during that scene, there was a lot more.
No,
No?
I think some got close and then they pulled away, and it had to come back. But because they lose one right away, the first one to come up close, they get shot and blown up,
and then they lose Bobas.
They lose Bobas, and then the warrior chicks.
So they should only be 2 left.
I think there's 2 left. I'll have to go back, maybe that scene after when they're raiding the train for supplies. Maybe there's 2.
What if there's 5 left?
Oh gosh. But
someone's.
But yeah, so now something that I noticed. So before the train heist, I think it was after between the training on the speeders and the train heist. There's a scene where I think one of Tusken's kind of doing some repairs on one of the speeders.
Yeah.
And I noticed there's an emblem on there of some sort of I guess spider creature type thing. And so that droid that was piloting the train was also a spider looking thing. So I'm thinking that the Pikes were hired by someone else.
Oh.
Or something. Or unless the spider thing is just an emblem that the Pikes use or something. But I don't know. I just noticed that's the spider thing on the bikes, which would have been those Raiders had the same emblem, and so maybe the Raiders are part of
the Pikes.
Part of the Pikes, or they're part of whoever hired the Pikes.
Well, it seems like the Pikes is or whoever's buying the spice.
Yeah, so there's I said at the beginning of this episode, there's a lot of different people at play on what's going on in Tatooine, and we don't know anything about what's going on. And so I think there's still a bigger power somewhere on Tatooine that we haven't gotten to yet. But I don't know, I could be wrong.
It's possible.
But yeah, so after the train heist thing, they capture the survivors of the Pikes, and they talk to the leader, and the leader tries to play it down I don't know what spice is. What is spice? What does it look like?
And then they dump spice. I thought that was hilarious.
It's that. It's just kind of whatever. Yeah. But I really like the interaction because the Pikes were like, well, we thought these were just uncivilized people, and we were just trying to protect our routes.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, we're going to show you our civility by letting you survive. Walk that way towards Arrowhead, and that if you want to continue your business here, you have to pay Tuscans, which I think is going to be an interesting thing. How the Tuscans are going to get more resources to do to survive.
Yeah, exactly.
And so then after this, there's a meeting in one of the larger tents with the chief and Boba and some other people, other Tuscans, and it's very like, this is where we learn that Tatooine had oceans on it, which I think was an EU thing anyway, already established in the EU, and so they're borrowing that. But yeah, so it's
like the Dune Sea used to be a sea, like
right.
So,
and so I wonder, like what caused that to change, because like I said earlier, I assumed that the foreigners, the people that are not native to Tatooine, came after the sea.
See, I think the reason why it's dry is because the foreigners came and polluted the planet.
Possibly.
Because it seems like the way they established Tatooine and like established like the Sand People or the Tusken Raiders, it seems like they represent a lot of like Native American culture, and they've always been oppressed and pushed outwards by non-native people.
Right.
And so if that's the case, I'm just going to assume that they're going to go the route that we went, and we came here and changed everything, demolished the landscape by killing animals and like screwing up their way of life, and they're adapting and they don't understand and they don't want any part of it.
Right.
But they understand it more, so they're able to survive and stick to their culture. And that's what I'm thinking, that it was all beautiful and there's trees, I assume, and like these all these little towns were set up around the sea, and then when it dried up, these towns were, some of them were deserted, but people are still trying to survive there, but they've been there for like generations.
Right. It's possible. Like, I just want to I don't even care about Boba Fett anymore. I just want to know more about the Tuskens. Give me a Tusken show. Like,
dude, I mean, this is our Tusken show. And so something that I thought about after last week, after we left, I was like, you know what? Like, we haven't really seen the Tuskens communicate with sign language,
so far, yeah.
like with each other. But then this week, we saw Boba signing with them.
Right.
And I was like, okay, sweet. And now he's already learning the language. Like, it's been a couple of days. It hasn't been like one night. Like, he's been there for a hot minute at this point, because he's already learning the language. He's established, like, oh, it's pretty cool.
Well, now that makes me wonder, like, when did Din Djarin learn? Because,
and it seems like the people that he interact with are a different clan or tribe clan. I don't know what they go by, but they're different than these people.
Right. Which is, the whole tribe thing is interesting, because it says that after the sea dried up, different tribes have been scattered. And so I think I'm trying to understand like what was said, but it's like there's all these different tribes, and this specific tribe has survived by hiding, where the other tribes survived by killing. And so, and Boba's like, well, you shouldn't hide anymore. You guys are warriors. And so, like, I wonder. So does that mean like this specific tribe is the furthest away from civilized areas?
It seems like it, yeah. Because they didn't even know what, like, I mean, they knew what a speeder was, but they don't know how to operate it, and maybe they don't get much interaction with outside as like the ones that are closer to like I don't know, closer to civilization, I guess.
Yeah, different cities.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Interesting.
That's cool.
I'm kind of hoping it'll be cool if.
You think we'll ever see them without their helmets on?
I don't think so.
Did you see the one with one eye?
No.
Oh, you missed it. You got to go back. It was like after they got done raiding the train, you see one and he only has like one eye. Like he has one thing that comes out, the other thing's like fully closed. And I was like, I asked the chat, I'm like, does that guy have one eye? And the chat's like, yes. And then you see him again for a little bit, and it was super cool. I was like, dang, I want to be the one with one eye. That's dope.
I think it's the same with the Jawas. We're never going to see a Jawa's face.
Yeah, that's true.
And
because they even burned them with all their stuff on them, like, you know what I mean, like,
right.
Or is that their face?
No, it's not their face. But I don't know. It'd be cool to see their face, but I don't think we'll ever will.
They're just like normal people.
Yeah.
It's like in Rogue One when we saw that, or was this Solo, when we saw that girl's face and we realized it was a girl. Be something like just like random people.
Who?
You know, in Rogue One, what's the name of the girl that like helped start the rebellion? But like when you see her with her mask on, you
Enfys Nest.
Yeah, Enfys Nest. When you see with her mask on, she looks super intimidating and intense, and you didn't know it was a girl.
Right.
And she took her mask off, and you're like, oh, it's a child. Like, what? So it'd be weird if it was like something like that. Like they're just old white guys. And they're just hanging out.
But. Right. So then, after they talk about the different tribes, the chief is like, "All right, I have a gift for you." And Boba's like,
"Oh, man,
gift for me?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he shows him, and it's a little
lizard,
a little mushu, like a little dragon, or no, I should say more like what's the cricket in the little cage from Mulan?
Was it just Lucky?
I don't know. No, did it have a name? But
I don't. It has a name. I don't remember. Chat, help us out. But he was supposed to be a lucky cricket, but he was horrible.
So he's like, "Yeah, this is gonna help guide you." And Boba, you can tell I really liked Tamora Morrison's acting job here. But like, cool. Oh, a lizard. Okay, it will definitely guide me. Like not knowing. Yeah. And then the chief, I think, takes water from what do they call it? What do they call it? They call it black melon or dark melon?
Black melon. Black melon.
And guys, I think it was just water and just.
It's not even water, it's milk, we find out.
Huh?
Because that's what he said. He said, you guys can take black, because they're like, well, we need our water.
The milk of
the black melon milk. And that's how these people have survived for years. You guys can survive a walk with that.
Right. Well, either way, he splashes some on his face, which causes the lizard to jump on his face and up his nose.
Which was crazy.
Which came out of nowhere for me. Like,
I was like, what are we watching? That's so weird.
Now, I feel like the Crate Dragon episode Mandalorian, did we see like some little lizards running around just in an environment in that episode? I feel like we've seen that little lizard on Tatooine before.
Yeah, probably, most likely.
So that's interesting that like those little things make you hallucinate and take over your mind. And
okay, so I read somewhere that they added those kind of lizards because they look like the lizards from Florida, and so because Galaxy's Edge is canonized and those lizards are all over Galaxy's Edge, they mention it and they like rename them. So I wonder if that's what it is. Like,
did you see lizards all over the place?
Oh yeah, they have those little lizards all over Orlando, like everywhere. They look exactly like that. So I wonder if that's
little lizards like that running around Florida. Like,
oh yeah, they're like everywhere. They're just they're always in the pool too. When you rent one, they're always in the pool, just swimming around and stuff.
David, take some pictures of some lizards.
Yeah,
in Florida. I want to see them. But yes, so the lizard goes up his nose, and he starts to have some sort of like weird vision journey quest thing.
Mm-hmm. Like he was like on mushrooms or something. It was weird.
He sees a tree in the middle of the desert. Like, whoa, we haven't seen a tree on Tatooine before. Like this is insane. And then he has flashes of like him on Camino, seeing Jango Fett leave in the Slave One,
which was super cool.
Yeah, I want more Tatooine stuff, or I mean more Camino stuff.
Yeah,
like,
me too.
But and then you
so
see
hard, but
him like the tree has like these red eyes going throughout the whole thing, and then like he gets close to the tree, and the tree starts like pulling him in, and like he's having flashbacks to being in the Sarlacc pit, and then he grabs one of the branches and breaks it, and then there's like a splash of water, and that's like the end of the vision.
It was so weird.
Yeah, I'm like, this is not the normal Star Wars stuff. And then he returns with a branch, and everyone's like, all right, let's do this. And so then he has a ceremony in one of the huts where he gets black robes, which is the same black robes that he's wearing in The Mandalorian.
And what he's wearing under his armor right now.
He is wearing black. I forgot about that. I didn't catch that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And so do you think that's bantha hair? The black stuff? Is this bantha hair woven?
Could be. Could be cool.
Someone's
hair.
Right.
It's probably itchy in the sand. It can't be comfortable. And it's black. Like black.
Well, yeah, but that's common in like Africa and Middle Eastern things where there's areas where they cover themselves to keep the sun off, which I don't know how that works
because black doesn't sun go to
black is less of a thing than having your whole body covered in like
heat, wool.
I just wonder how that works.
Yeah,
because I'm like I accidentally wear like a long sleeve shirt like in spring when it's like and it turns out to be like 70 degrees. I'm like sweating like crazy.
Yeah.
So like, but
we're not used to it.
So he emerges from the hut and he has all the attire on. Everyone's looking at him like this is pretty cool. The little kid that he befriends is like runs up to him, like, "Oh, okay, you look so good," blah blah blah, type of thing. And then the kid brings him to the desert to some random like debris station, like it was like something like blew up there or something, and they use it as like a station to like craft your own gaffy stick.
Yeah, it's like the forging.
Yeah, and I thought that was a really cool scene where. Like
I love that scene.
Like
it kind of felt like the forging scene in like Mandalorian too. Like it had that.
Oh yeah.
Sort of feel to it. I mean, it wasn't as intense because he ended up having to do it himself.
Right. But I think that's cool because like the guide there is like kind of shows him, all right, this is what you do, but he makes Boba do it all himself, and so he crafts it for himself. So it's like everyone has their own unique stick. That they make themselves, and it's like theirs for life. And so then I thought the whole process was cool.
And the chat's saying like it was really cool when after he got his robes and stuff, he came out and the little kid ran up to him and was like holding his hand and stuff, and like pretty much like he's part of our tribe now and stuff like that.
I don't know. I'm kind of worried about that kid.
He's dying. He's gonna die.
Don't say that.
I'm saying it right now. He's gonna die.
I'm just worried that kid's gonna die, but I hope not.
What if their whole tribe dies and that's why he leaves? That would be a horrible. I'm not gonna predict that. I want them to all be alive. I don't get it wiped out, and then that's why he's like.
Well, I wonder if that warrior chick is gonna die. I feel like she's gonna die for sure.
If you like them, they're dying.
Dang it, that's not good. But I believe that's the end of the episode. He crafts his gaffy stick, and that's it.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's it. Like that's pretty much the. I liked how they made it black too. That was pretty cool, and he carved the lines and stuff.
Right.
And the stick, I thought was sweet.
Yeah. So that was Chapter 2, The Tribes of Tatooine. And I have no idea where the show is going to go next.
Something, I think it's going to be a lot of them trying to figure out the hut situation, and the huts and the mayor is going to play a big part, and Boba's going to have to get some other underground syndicates to work with him to keep his role.
next week might be when we have that scene from the trailer where everyone's gathered.
That meeting.
Because like he knows that now there's conflict in the area because the Hutts are coming. You got the mayor doing something. You have the Order of the Night Wind, and so he's like, we gotta call a business meeting, get this figured out. Are we all gonna work together or what? So that's probably what we'll see next week, I'm guessing. But who knows?
Well, that's it for me. I'm pretty excited for it. I liked it. Out of ratings, what did you give this one?
Definitely 10 gaffy sticks out of 10 gaffy sticks.
Dang, you really like this one.
I really like this episode. Like,
I'll give it a 9. I liked it.
Just a 9? What?
I don't know if I like parts of this more than last week, but also I liked last week's a lot just from like the whole. I love the Sarlacc pit scene. I loved it a lot. I know a lot of people didn't, but I do think overall this episode is more fulfilling, and the culture behind like, I mean, this is like my dream, right? Every single time.
Hey, the one thing we did miss, they have the scene around the fire.
Yes,
it's like the initiation thing where they all know,
they're all dancing and
all like the same moves, and they're doing it. So there's that scene. I forgot. That was a cool scene.
That was cool. Yeah, he's definitely part of the tribe now, and it's, I don't know. I like growing up, like, or every time you guys always make fun of me, like Tatooine this, Tatooine that, and like I love like the Sand People and the Jawas and the culture of Tatooine and stuff like that. So like all this is just so cool to me, and I love this series just for the fact that we're never gonna leave Tatooine. I don't think. Like the most Slave One scene was probably what we got in this one when we saw it flying, when his dad was flying it. Yeah, so I liked it a lot. I thought it was really cool.
All right. Well, so next week, we are just going to be doing Boba Fett episodes. So on Wednesdays, so no Tuesday night streams for those who are looking for live streams. And so we'll just be doing Boba Fett until that's done on Wednesdays. And we may or may not have some other random fun episodes planned if we want, because I'm sure our fans want a little variety. They don't just want to hear Boba Fett nonstop. But
so if you guys want to get an extra episode here and there, you can always give suggestions in our Discord, which you can find a link to our Discord in our links bio, which is links with 2 eyes. And is it /Empire Radio?
I'm gonna have to look it up.
Andrew always does this.
Yeah,
but
he's irreplaceable. But it's
true. We should have him record a soundbite, and we should have played it.
We should have done that.
But anyways,
so if you go to our Instagram, Empire Radio Podcast, there's in our bio, there's the links.co/Empire Radio.
Yes.
Links with 2 eyes, and so that gives everything for Facebook, YouTube, Discord link. So join the Discord.
You can join the Discord and leave suggestions there.
Yeah.
And then also with that, you can also make sure you tune into YouTube. There's always stuff that we do over there as well. And you'll get notifications on our Discord. And if you go over to twitch.tv/Empire Radio, follow us there. That's when you'll get notifications when we go live. Because these Wednesdays episodes, they're going to be a little different. We kind of mentioned that already, but we're still trying to figure out the exact time. So just the best way to do that, stay connected with us. Go follow us on our socials, and then you'll be able to get connected with us and know when we go live for those things.
Yes. And don't forget, check out needlesslynerdy.com.
Yes.
Because they're if you want more nerdy stuff, you'll find not just Star Wars. If you want to do Marvel, find Marvel stuff and whatnot. There's articles on there. So we're part of that network. So join.
Yes. But yes, there's no, Will just asked in the chat, no voicemails. No, we don't have any voicemails for this week's Boba Fett episode. But next week, we will be doing voicemails. So send those voicemails in. There's also a link in that links landing page in the bio where you can leave our
Yes.
voicemails. We want the streak to keep going, so please do not end the streak. The only way to do that is to make sure you send in one as well. So do your part. Send us voicemails if you have a question. It can be literally about anything, about how the podcast is better now that Andrew left. Whatever you want. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But anyways, yeah. So just send in voicemails too. We do not want it. We still want that streak going. We can't end that streak. So no voicemails for this week because we already did this week. That was yesterday. But
Yep.
next Wednesday we'll be doing voicemail, and you don't want to miss that. So
Right.
send them in.
All right. Well, that's all I have. Anything else?
Me too. Nope. Next week. Oh, real quick. Watch party. Also, another thing, if you want to join me in the watch party, twitch.tv/Empire Radio. Follow. You'll get a notification when we watch it the day of next Wednesday. And it's fun. A lot of us get in there and they watch me react and freak out over stuff that actually didn't even happen. And it's fun. So you don't want to miss those.
All right, cool. Well, this has been another Wizard episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And may the force be with you.
Always.